I'm locking in for the next 120 days to get out of survival mode, refocus my home life, and reset the habits and rhythms that our home needs to thrive. We've been in an intense season for months, and everything has been out of rhythm. But as a mom of 5 young children, this is not my first time having to lock in and reset our home. Stick around because I'm going to show you the exact process that I've used to successfully rebuild our home after intense seasons, and you can use the same method to reset your home in just 120 days. Let's start with the part that many homemakers overlook, even though it's the one thing that determines whether your home will actually reflect what matters most to you. Before we lock in and reset things in our home over the next 120 days, we need to get very clear on what our focus needs to be. As Christians, we are not robots cranking out tasks or trying to check everything off like the world's version of productivity. The world says to get as many things done as efficiently as possible, and while it's good to think about how to do tasks well, that is not the whole picture for Christians. That is actually a very limited view of life. The Lord gives us various domains to steward, and these become the foundation of how we build our home rhythms. There are many important things in life, like church and relationships, but inside the home, the top domains of stewardship are your faith, your marriage, your children or your family, your body, or otherwise known as your health, and then your home. Prayerfully thinking through these categories is what guides how we build and refocus our home. There's a guy named Reagan Rose who wrote a book called Redeeming Productivity. It's a great book. I highly recommend it. But he asked a question that is incredibly insightful. He said, what would well done, good and faithful servant look like in each sphere? So think through that for each domain that God has given you. What would well done look like in your marriage, or in your parenting, or in how you steward your body or run your home? Most often, there is a gap between where we are and where we want to be, and that is totally normal. That is the case for all of us. Sanctification takes time, and we are always growing. But we don't just have to wait for these things to happen to us. We can create a strategy. So as you're thinking about locking in for the next 120 days and wanting to reset or refocus your home, start by refocusing it in on your God-given priorities. And I want to say this clearly up front, these domains are ranked in order of importance. They are not equally weighted. For example, the task of the home do not hold the same weight as your faith in abiding in the Lord. Doing things well in your home absolutely overflows from your faith. We're not just spiritual beings, we're physical, and the physical absolutely matters, but I'm just saying that the priorities are not the same and they should not be treated as the same. Once you've asked what well done, good and faithful servant looks like in each area, the next thing to do before you start building anything is to brainstorm a few habits that would help you get from point A to point B. You will not implement all of them, but this step is important as you begin this good work. So you can have your priorities and your ideas mapped out, but without this next part, nothing's going to change. And if something doesn't shift, then next year is going to look exactly like this last however long for you and for me. So this next point is crucial. What comes next is locking in on 1 or 2 rhythms that you want to shift. And this is going to look different for everyone. I would say that there are generally 3 camps. Camp 1 is there are very few meaningful rhythms. Of course, every homemaker has some kind of rhythm in their home because there's meals, there's laundry, and getting people fed and clothed. But are these rhythms meaningful? Do they help your days flow more smoothly, or are you just doing things on a whim a lot of the time? If that sounds familiar, that might be your camp. Camp 2 is survival mode. Maybe you used to have rhythms that worked really well, but they've been pushed aside because you've been in an intense season. That's where I am right now, ready to lock in, rebuild, and get back to what worked, with perhaps optimizing a couple of things. Camp 3 is you have strong rhythms, but they need optimizing. Maybe something isn't working anymore, or maybe your routines no longer reflect your God-given priorities, which happens to all of us. We need to all recalibrate sometimes. But knowing your camp, it helps you not compare yourself to anyone else. Self-awareness keeps expectations realistic as well, and it helps you understand your pain points better. So let me know in the comments what camp you're in. I'm genuinely curious. Regardless of your camp, the common denominator across all camps is this: you're going to pick 1 to 2 things to lock in on, not 10. If you try to overhaul everything, you are going to burn out. So start with your biggest pain point. If you're in camp 1 with very few rhythms, grab my Rooted Reset guide. It'll walk you through foundational pain points of running a home, and it'll help you build rhythms one at a time. If you're in camp 2, like me, recalibrate your rhythms. Look at your rhythms that you've built before that aligned with your values and make sure that they still fit your season. And then gently merge back into them, not all at once. If you're in camp 3, decide what needs to be tweaked. If tasks have been taking priority at the expense of relationships or health or time in the Word, your expectations may need to shift. And by the way, I created a free masterclass that teaches you how to build and optimize these rhythms. I will link that down below. So how do you start? Again, start by locking in on 1 or 2 pain points, no more. For me right now, I'm focusing on getting dinner on the table at a good time, getting to bed earlier, more regularly, and merging back into my basic daily rhythms. As I do this, something helpful also is happening. I already have a built-in place in my day in my normal daily rhythms to handle weekly items too. So weekly items are not going to be a separate project for me. They're just going to be part of returning back to the normal flow of our home. I'm going to take it slow, but I'm locking in and I'm doing it. By the way, if we haven't met yet, my name is Lauren. I'm a homeschooling mom of 5, and here on this channel, I help homemakers bring rhythm and rest into the heart of their home. If that sounds like something you need, don't forget to like and subscribe and tap that notification bell so that you don't miss my weekly videos. But let's get back to it. This last point is crucial. Without this step, everything that we're trying to lock in will eventually fall apart. And this is the part that makes the next 120 days work. At this stage, what has helped me most is making it easy to do the habit that I'm rebuilding and then removing the things that make it harder to do. So I'm going to be casting off anything that keeps me from running my race well. If a habit is something that we haven't been consistent with for a while and we don't make it really easy to show up, it tends to fall apart quickly. James Clear talks about this often, and while he isn't writing from a Christian perspective, he describes human nature as God designed it in a lot of ways. And these tools that he writes about can actually help us be more faithful. When I'm starting a new habit or resetting an old one that's a good habit, a few things make a big difference. 1, having a very easy initiating step. 2, setting up my environment so that it's really simple to begin. And 3, keeping the habit uncomplicated. The key in beginning is simply to show up every single day in some form. A mantra that has been really helpful to me is don't let myself miss twice. Life happens, there's sickness, children wake up at night, or there are hard days, but I try to get back at it the next day if I can, so that I don't unintentionally create a new pattern. The whole goal here is simply to dig a new trench so that the flow of life moves in a different direction than it has been. So how does this look in practice? 1, you can make the habit small and easy. Again, starting tiny has helped me tremendously. If I'm rebuilding an exercise rhythm, for example, I'll ask, what is the version that still counts and is easy to show up for? What is the simplest initiator? For me, I used an open and go app so that I didn't have to choose a workout. I would just roll out my mat, open the app, and get started. Eliminating that one step made it easy for me to exercise. Number 2, again, is to set your environment up for success. My environment often determines whether the habit is going to happen or not. If I want better meals, I make dinner decisions 1 night a week. That's just setting up the environment for the week in my notebook. If I want smoother evenings, I set out what I need for dinner earlier in the day. And something else that has helped me is pairing a new habit with a rhythm that already exists. A lot of people call this habit stacking, but really it's just choosing a familiar moment in your day and letting it cue the new habit. If I already start the coffee pot every morning, for example, maybe that also becomes the moment that I'm going to set something out for dinner to thaw. It basically just keeps the friction low because it's anchored to something that my tired mom brain already does automatically, and so I don't really have to think very hard about it. The key here is to be specific and name what you'll do, when, and where. So for example, after blank, I will blank at whatever location. 3 is to remove whatever is hindering you. Distraction is one of the biggest reasons that rhythms at home fall apart. If I'm constantly checking my phone or email during the hours that I'm managing the home or homeschooling, I feel scattered and thin and unfocused. And when we're trying to build something, truly build, it's not wise to divide our resources. I had this picture, it's kind of like building a house. If you take your materials halfway through to build a clubhouse, the main house doesn't get done. So in this season, I'm focusing on building the house first, these rhythms that I'm locking into, and then life will still happen, obviously, in the divinely appointed ways, and I can trust the Lord with those interruptions. But where I do have a choice, this is a season of gently saying no to what is good so that I can say yes to what is best and build my home. Once it becomes easier and more natural to show up and the unnecessary distractions are cleared out, the next 120 days feel completely different because now there's structure that actually supports the rhythms that you're building. And you can feel good about them because they're rooted in biblical priorities. If you want help building some of these rhythms, again, grab the free booklet that walks you through resetting some of these systems at home, or you can check out my free masterclass. Both will be linked down below. Thank you so much for being here today, and I'll see you in the next one.